hello. It's it's Saturday, the 5th of December, I guess, maybe the 6th, and I am eating toast, a toasted bread, so with butter. Nice, bro. It's a wonderful way to get fat, and yeah. As you know, after the 15th of December, I'm going on a fast in order to reduce weight. And so now, I'm going on an anti-fast to increase weight. Yeah, so it was. So I basically wasted a lot of time, and the next subject. And by the way, let me tell you, the TCS paper went nice, very satisfactory, and I was very thankful, very thankful. And wait, oh, yeah, and the RAI paper also went pretty nice. So mostly all papers have been pretty satisfactory till now, and what remains is mobile computing and system security only, which are fair subjects, not too hard, not too easy. And I'll show you them. Well, that job, the Times of India job, Prathamesh and I didn't go for that because they didn't call us. They called me. A woman called me up and told me to come the next day, but it was clashing with my exam dates, and they were very unrelenting and very. They were not even ready to adjust even a little bit, and that showed the amount of value we were getting. We were not being valued that much. And that's reasonable, because the job profile was not for very educated people. So, of course, there's no value for people who are not that educated. And we went in that profile. So. I realized pretty early on the phone that they don't give a fuck. And so I took the right decision by not going. Otherwise I would have regretted a lot. You know, I saved myself so much trouble by not going. But yeah, the job hunt is on. I mean, I just don't want to go to college just like that. I want to do more stuff now. So yeah. At last that freaking toast is over. Anyway, so all the papers went nice, and by the end of the TCS paper I was so thankful that I came home and had decided, man, I must do something nice, gather karma upon karma, because how could I not be? I was so satisfied. Before the TCS paper I was shit scared as to what will happen. Everybody was scared to give the paper. There were 4 or 5 guys there who were giving the TCS paper. 4 guys including me. So ahead of me there was one, behind me and besides me there was one. All of them got a KT in TCS. So then I wrote my paper. I was writing my paper, and the other guys were having trouble. They were not being able to, because it was clear that they hadn't studied much. Even I hadn't studied much, but I remembered from the last semesters, and I had knowledge prior, and so I did go through the portion pretty well, and I did study the concepts pretty nicely. So I could write, and I attempted attempted the 100 marks. Not all of them that might be totally correct, but attempting 100 marks and getting 40 marks out of it. So pretty easy. I guess I should pass. As for the remaining, if I don't pass, they surely aren't going to pass. That's clear, because they were writing horrible. Meaning, at first, both the guy ahead of me and the guy behind me, both of them really wanted to copy as much as they can from me. The supervisor then asked me to leave my bench and move to some other place. So I did do that, and then both of them seemed scared after that. And as of the third guy who was sitting beside me, he had told me he knew very little. He knew only theory, and when during writing the paper, he in gestures asked me how is it. I said okay, I didn't like this too, and he said he didn't like this too. So and so yeah, I said I didn't like this. Oh really? This? Yeah. So, yeah. I came to know then that he really didn't know anything. In about 1.5 hours he was out, or maybe 2.5 hours he was out, maybe 2 hours. And in the mid paper he left. The remaining two left shortly after, and as it turns out, I was the only person in the class remaining. There were other streams as well who were giving that paper, and then I was the last person standing in the class. And so I finished my paper, and the supervisor was standing exclusively for me. So he asked me finished. I said finished, yeah, and then started striking the remaining papers. He said no need, and then I gave him the paper, and then I was out in peace and sudden calm, and wow, the feeling. Phew. That was nice, and I'm so thankful to God for that. So all the major challenges are over, but I don't want to fuck things up now, as the MC paper and the SS paper. If I fuck things up here, it will be really bad. It will be as if So yeah, as of FC, I have not begun yet as of reading MC. The classes that my professor took were pretty interesting, and I had done all those things in my diploma in electronics and telecommunications. So yeah, it pretty much coincided with what I had already learned, and MC was good in that way. So I presumed that MC would be easy, but as when I opened the guidebook, the question papers and all that, there's a whole jumble of theory, lots of text, no conceptual stuff, but lots of storytelling, I guess. And it's quite a read. If I begin reading now, I would finish by midnight, I guess, reading. As for I'll concentrate on MC now. MC paper is on Tuesday. As for SS, I'm just putting my concentration on MC now. And SS is a bit tough. It has pretty driven concepts in it. It's cryptography and all that. And I was writing a book on cryptography, a wiki book on cryptography, which has been renamed by some wiki guy, some wiki editor renamed the book as, and I have made the index as of yet, but I have not written much content, just an index and a good introduction, which I like. Yeah, so I will take the chance of the 5 days holiday I've got after that to complete that book, help the world and shit. And yeah, that should give me a good grip over. I'll try to complete it. Completing a book is not a joke, and 5 days is impossible. Yeah, and So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. MC is a place I can shine. Even though I have 2 days remaining, that's it. I'll shine in MC. 2 days is a good time, and people have got 5 and 6 days. I got like 1 day minus because I had my TCX exam that day. Yeah, and I know people don't take advantage of the time they have. People usually, when they have lots of time, the opposite happens. That yeah, so that actually works for favor in me. It doesn't work against me, it works in my favor. So give people a month of a holiday, and I bet they are going to do nothing. Nothing. So, yeah, psychology 101. And yeah, so I should read right now. What I'll go home and do, I'll go home. Mummy is at home. I will put some incense on some, maybe if possible, I'll put some incense. Make an ambience suitable for reading. And like an old man revisiting his youthful days, I shall read MC, mobile computing, yeah, or computation, or whatever, as if a student of old is revising what he had known before. I just want to tell you that God has been extremely giving to me in the recent days. I couldn't have done it without. I couldn't have given good papers without divine intervention. I remember that before giving each paper, I was hardly prepared, and I was really telling this because I was pretty sure that I would not be able to perform during the exam. That just about an hour before the exam, you would find me in a train or in a rickshaw or in the canteen of the college, trying to futilely trying to go through the guidebook or whatever. And when the papers would come, when the papers would arrive, I would just gather in all that I knew, and all that I had learnt in the previous and the day before, and somehow I would write a satisfactory paper. When I would sit to learn, and that's how I gave the paper, but when I would sit to learn just a night before the exam, I would be in a panicked situation. I would be extremely in a doomed scenario, as in I would be blaming myself as why did I delay till now, why didn't I do this earlier and stuff. At that time I would pray my Maghrib prayer, my Maghrib namaz, and make a cup of tea, and then dramatize in my mind quickly about how if God wills, He can put knowledge in your head like this. And knowledge doesn't take time to come in the head. It's just that people might stay with a book for years and years and years and years, or months in our case, and might never know what is in it, as in they might read it, or they might have gone through it, or they would have sat for lectures, but at the end of it all, they know nothing, and or they remember nothing. And I remember those evenings, the evenings before the exam, I would stand with my book blank, and I would tell myself, look, I would stand up literally in the room alone and would tell myself that, look, if God wills, this book is going to be in your head in the next 2 hours. What you need to do is just quickly just read through it and don't worry. And basically I did all my ritualistic things, and I would stand with the book and start from page 1. From page 1, no matter how rudimentary that page would seem, and go ahead from there, count the number of pages that are there, and just go ahead through them. And for every question or every topic that I went through, I would just say, okay, this is the topic that I have to learn. This is the everything in the book at that moment is irrelevant when that was the thing that I would have to learn. And then I looked at it with all my heart, and then once I was feeling not completely satisfied but partially satisfied. I wouldn't, even while studying, I wouldn't be able to completely grasp what it is. I would be partially satisfied, and then I would just leave that question and move ahead. And yeah, even the next day while going towards college, I wouldn't know exactly what I had learned. I wouldn't have an idea. I wouldn't be able to remember what it is. But when the paper came, I would write the paper. And yeah, so so yeah, as it turns out, the papers were fine, and I hope nothing truly tragic happens now. Nothing truly. I hope that the correction happens fine, and the marks that come out of it, and 2 exams remain. So, and I hope by today evening I finish my MC. And I haven't called Priyanka in a while, so I'll call her today, I guess. Actually, I was supposed to call her day before yesterday, after my TCS paper, but failed to do so. I'll call her today. I tried to call her on Viber, but she was offline. Anyway, I go home, make a cup of tea, and yeah, go ahead and just read my book. And I gotta upload these videos soon. I have not uploaded these videos. I'm just going on making these videos. I guess I've made 20 or so videos now, and I have not uploaded any of them. It will be a slow process to upload them. ADSL is that way. For those of you who know how ADSL works. Anyway, I hate to say it, but I like making these videos. I really like talking like this. I must stop now. The sun is setting.